Hello, sweaty pepperoni. Yep, this is a repeated thing now, and if you look at the title, you will notice I have named it as series. And yes, I'm overacting because why not? So as from the title, you might have noticed. Recently, I felt very overwhelmed, and yes, I do have pointers. So yeah, I recently felt very overwhelmed. It's basically gotten me to think about how we, I mean, other people also feel this way. I think so. We as like human beings, like we consistently like look at tiny details of our life and get overwhelmed, like negatively overwhelmed, yet it's usually hard for us to do the same thing positive feelings. And I'll get more into the idea of positive and negative in a bit, but like yeah, like recently I got very overwhelmed, like so much so that I actually ran to the bathroom just to hide from everyone. It was my fault, and I guess the feeling of like being overwhelmed by everyone came from how everyone was just trying to tell me that it's my fault and I wasn't agreeing. Was it my fault? Let's put a pin on that. But yeah, like I got overwhelmed to the point that I went to the bathroom and just to hide. And what's interesting is that even though part of me knew that yeah, it was a bit of my fault, I still slightly started hating everyone. Like everyone who was telling me that it was my fault. And now when I think about it, it's kind of silly, right? Like I I can't tell you the whole context, but from as much as I can tell you, I hope you understand. Like it was kind of silly that yes, it was my fault a bit, and yes, I could have done something better, but it is what it is. It is silly, and it's quite interesting that like when we feel down, we spiral. Like literally, we just spiral into more and more negativity. But if we're feeling happy or if we're feeling positive, even the slightest misstep like sends us to the shadow realm, like makes us vanish out of like this world of joy into like again the shadow realm. And that kind of reminds me of how in the Disney Pixar film Inside Out, if you look at the five emotions, culturally only one of them is looked upon as positive, and that is joy. I mean, it makes you feel good, right? But if you look at sadness, anger, fear, disgust, right? They're emotions too, yet we call them negative emotions. And it's like we don't even try to like sit down with the emotion. Like we don't. We try to like remove the emotions from ourselves to not feel it because we feel overwhelmed by it. And it's like yeah, like obviously nobody knows how this thing works. Like it's a weird mushy thing that can like get hurt so easily. Yet we just we don't even sit down and think about it. Like why would we have emotions in the first place, right? We have them as alarms to tell us something is happening. And like for example, if somebody insulted you and if you're angry, it's like yeah, you're angry, but why? You need to ask yourself that, right? But either it's like to the like these days, like because of phones and not everything like that, that we aren't able to kind of sit with our emotions, or if it's like from the dawn of time. But like for example, I couldn't even sit with those emotions in the bathroom for too long. Like I think maximum I did 3 minutes, after which I just picked up my phone. I just started. I didn't even do anything. I didn't even do shit. Like I just sat there looked at my phone, like literally I just looked at my phone and I just started texting. And I just read the random texts from my friends who were talking about completely different things, and I just replied to them, and that was it. That was all I did on my phone. Maybe I went on YouTube Studio to like look at views and stuff like that, which was nothing. It was just doom scrolling. But I did it for no reason, right? Like there was no reason to do that, but I did. And I guess, yeah, like, again, sometimes emotions are overwhelming, and like I guess we need to try and sit with them, because like we need to question why they're happening, because if we don't understand them, and then they start to become much worse. Like literally at the age that I am right now, I'm a young adult with like quotation marks. I kind of realized that there are a lot of things that have affected my way of thinking, that have affected the way I speak, the way I react to some things, that I never even realized. Because a lot of times we feel sad or we feel really happy at something that we can't even explain, because we're not consciously thinking about it, but subconsciously it affects us, because we have two sides, right? We have conscious mind and we have subconscious mind for a reason. Subconscious mind has everything that we don't even realize, like, unless we try to bring it to the conscious mind. And this is not me like saying that, like, I made a whole dialogue, please bear with me. This is not me saying to like stop at every moment when you feel a new emotion and be like, oh, hickory doo, I seem to have a new emotion, whichever shall I do? That's not what I'm trying to say. Obviously, go with the flow, and multiple occasions, like, if you're feeling happy, go with it. Have fun. Feel the joy. If you're feeling sad, yeah, maybe you can't actually sit down at the moment and you need to keep your head down and work, maybe. But, like, at some point or another, you're gonna have time where you can talk about it. Like, this is me trying to talk about it, because I feel harder talking about it with anybody else. And it's not like I'm saying I feel easy talking to you specifically. It's more like I'm not really like telling you exactly what happened, right? So it's an easier way for me to talk about it. And I think there are multiple ways to talk about your emotions. It's just that we need to find ways that are easier for us to express them. And I put emphasis on the word express, because because it's an art form. Not an art form, but like art. Like, that's what art is. It's a way for you to express your emotions, whether you express them beautifully or whether you express them in an ugly manner. It's something you do to express yourself. So you can either create art, right? Like, just literally, I dare you to just sit down when you feel like it's a lot is happening, and like take a piece of paper, take a pencil, and waste that paper. Just like scribble all over. Or like I did this thing with my baby brother. Like, we just sat down, and he, like, for his motor skills, we were like giving him scissors and like making him cut a piece of paper, right? And I just sat down with him and I also cut the paper. And what happens is, when you do repeated tasks, it becomes meditative. That's why painting is a bit meditative too. Because, like, for example, I'm going to show my painting again. If you look at this, every single stroke was made by me. Nobody else did that. I did. I had to make every single stroke. Do you know what happens when you're doing the same stroke again and again, even if you're listening to music? Your brain starts to wander. And when your brain wanders, a lot of times it looks into your subconscious, and you find things that might be disturbing or might be nice to look at. And yes, when it's disturbing, you feel like, oh shoot, I need to do something else. But what if you just sat down with it, right? And again, this is not me trying to be better than everyone. I'm not. I'm figuring this out myself. I try to do these things myself and I fail also, and I have to keep trying. And this is just a way for me to kind of like try to tell other people who might not have thought about this yet, and while also telling myself to do it. So yeah, the feeling of overwhelm is quite weird, quite stupid, but it happens. I mean, think about it, like if an alarm goes off and it keeps going off on in your brain, you're gonna want to get out of it. That's why people take substances. That's why many people become workaholics even, right? Like we just try to find ways to like disappear from the emotion instead of trying to face it and understand it, because it's like it's not somebody else's emotion that we can never get, that we can, sorry, I don't know why I got some sass suddenly, but like that we can, it's not like we can never understand it because we know the whole context of it, we just don't want to face it, and because it's scary. But maybe we need to do that. And now it's getting cheesy, so I'm gonna stop now. But yeah, see you next week. I'm not gonna promise when I'm gonna upload the next week's video, or whatever, but I will. Hopefully, this is something I'm trying to do, that I'll do repeatedly, while I also make my chaos that I usually do. Also, I'm thinking of naming this, that I think you would already read it in the title. I'm thinking of naming it Xlog, like with, like think of vlog, like it's VLOG, but instead of writing vlog, you write XLOG, so Xlog, in a way. I swear I'm not with Elon Musk. This isn't me trying to say, oh, I'm gonna help in the X branding. It's not like that. Anyways, see you later, sweaty pepperoni. Maybe I'll see you in this week again with some other stupid video, or I'll see you next week with another Xlog.